This is for me, this is for public. Okay. Use it in special. This one. But we're talking about what are they doing? One of them, I'm going to try to tell you, I'm full of them. Maybe never go down.
Yes.
Yeah, we can. Siyabonga. Let us take this opportunity and greet all the members of the 4th Estate who have joined us this morning in a press conference of the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal. That the provincial officials of the ANC to reflect on the milestone and achievements, setback, and the way forward that the ANC has achieved in the past. In fact, now it's over 100 days in the government of provincial unity. With me, I'm joined by the Chief Whip of the ANC in the provincial legislature, Ubaba Usupa Zuma on the far right. Next to him is the Deputy Chairperson of the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal and the MEC of Health, Umama Unomagugu. Then there is the Provincial Secretary of the ANC, Ubaba Ubebe Mtolo, the Provincial Deputy Secretary of the ANC, Umabu Hlomuga, who is also the LDC of Education. Next to him is the Provincial Treasurer of the ANC, also the chair of chairs in the provincial legislature, Obaba Uchunda, Tutugo Mahlaba, Dr. Tutugo Mahlaba. Ladies and gentlemen, without any waste of our time, we will commence with our program. Our program will be in this format. We will call the provincial secretary to introduce the only man I probably did not introduce, and then after that, the provincial chair of the ANC will then take us through the statement of the PEC, and immediately thereafter will then allow members of the media to interact with that particular statement. So without waste of any time, Baba Dlangamanda, can you come forward and introduce the chair?
No, thank you very much, Comrade Mafika, our provincial spokesperson. Ngijabulile ukuthi namhlanje singokubiza ngobaba. No, greetings to the provincial officials, Chief Whip, Comrade Super Zuma, Comrade Namagugu, Siyane, the Chair, Comrade Sipho Hlomuga, Comrade Dr. Tutugo Mahlaba, and myself. And greetings to the members of the media. I think all speculations will end now. All speculations will end because the provincial chair, who is the head of the ANC in the province, will deliver a comprehensive statement on behalf of the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal that gives guidance on how the ANC view the GPU and how it's going to relate with the people of KwaZulu-Natal going forward. Comrade Moniso Armstrong Duma, who is also an Minister for Transport and Human Settlement, Dr. Rama Matel from Mtwalume. May I invite you, provincial chair, because we have been long waited. Abantu ababanga na weekend. So now, sibona labanye ebengayivayithwanga siyababona. Obheka into bakhona la. Can you come? Thanks a lot. Oh, I will address that at the side.
Thank you so much, Dr. Andrew, for affording us this opportunity to represent greetings to the 40 states. The leadership of the ANC is led by Comrade Namagugu, Simelane Maputwa, the collective, Comrade Imtolo, Comrade Hlomuga, Comrade Shangele, Comrade Somlomo, Comrade Malala, our chief whip in our legislature. We have still our greetings to ANC Bank and Five. We have joined in even social platforms. Importantly, we greet members of the public who are following us through the mainstream media and social media platforms. We have convened this press briefing to reflect on the first 100 days in the provincial government of unity. From the onset, we want to wish to state the province of KwaZulu-Natal made our first 100 days in office an unforgettable and humbling experience. I'm sure must be emphatic when it comes to that point. After the announcement of the result of the elections held on the 29th of May, as the ANC, we understood that the people of KwaZulu-Natal had ushered in a new year. We are great as officials that we are entering an era in which elected public have to be accountable to the electorate. From the ballot box, the people of KwaZulu-Natal demanded that the affairs of government of the day be managed with a confident sense of hard work, transparency, honesty, and integrity at the same time. They stated overwhelmingly that they expect their life to change for the better. It is for this reason that our deployees in the PGU understood on the first day that they represent a new phase in our liberation and our democratic order. One that requires a different approach from all of us. They understood that province had entered a period of change which must adapt into that context and must do things different at the same time. While change can produce uncertainty, even anxiety, it is also a greater opportunity for a new one, revitalization and progress, which the ANC is currently undergoing the concept of a new one. On the priorities of the ANC and the manifesto implemented currently in the GPU, we are happy to witness and report on the service delivery progress under National Government of Union championed by the ANC, which is led by His Excellency President Madam Ramaphosa. And importantly, we wish to state to the people of KwaZulu-Natal that the provincial government of unity has laid a solid foundation for service delivery. We entered the GPU with 3 NSCs. The deployment was as follows. As you might know, that the chair was also deployed to transport and human settlements. The deputy chair, Comrade Makujwa, deployed in health. The Comrade Sipho Tlomuga, the DPS, deployed in education. Since 2004, the ANC has ensured that we had an activist legislature. The following deployment was affected and effected at the same time. 1, the Speaker, Comrade Nontembo Boys, was mandated to be the Speaker even in the 7th administration, continuing from the 6th. Comrade Provincial Treasurer, Comrade Junda, the Hotel Mahlaba, was deployed as the chair of chairs in our legislature. Comrade Ngamalala became board the chair responsible for DART and the chief whip of the ANC. Comrade Mafiga, Comrade Ndabele was deployed on ATIA, which is the portfolio committee responsible for. Comrade Sizopila Mkiza deployed for sport and arts and culture. Comrade Bongis Twale Moloi was deployed the chair of environmental affairs. Comrade Bali Fraser was deployed for OTP. Comrade Mtandele Lungwane was deployed for responsible for finance. Comrade Fikile Masigo, chair of quality of life. In addition, we have 2 whips, which is Comrade Keliwe Madlopa and Comrade Klewe Mafibet. We pause to salute Provincial Secretary Comrade Ubegi Makael Mdolo for his excellent coordination capabilities of the ANC program of action. I'm sure we understand the pressure was insurmountable, but the role he has played and displayed, it was at that level. However, we will forever be credited for ensuring a smooth transition from the 6th administration to the 7th administration. Importantly, the Provincial Secretary has at the center of the coordination of the PGU, which played the role of an engine here, ensured ongoing interaction with the leaders of political parties that are part of the GPU at the same time. From the onset, all deployees understood the importance of focusing on the implementation of objectives of the National Democratic Revolution. The South Africa we live today is as a result of the NDR championed by the ANC, which focused on uniting the people of the creation of a united, non-racial, non-sexist, democratic, free and prosperous nation founded on the basis of equality and human rights. The NDR envisaged a post-apartheid society which socio-economic developments have improved. Every South African, especially the poor, the vulnerable, experiences improving quality of life. There are pockets of achievement of life. There are pockets of achievements that are clear indications that we are succeeding in terms of the attainment of the objectives of the NDR in this current phase. There are challenges, but we now have a winning formula. We must be emphatic on that point. As the ANC, we are committed to work collectively with other parties in the GPU to strengthen this winning formula in the interest of the voters. However, we hasten to point out that working collectively with other parties does not imply that we will forsake our identity as the ANC, that we are going to forsake our values and the program of action. Later on, we will reflect and elaborate on this matter. Over the 100 days, billions of rands in investment were directed towards the construction, social, economic infrastructure that created millions of jobs in various local municipalities and across the length and breadth of the province of KwaZulu-Natal. This is in line with manifesto of the ANC as delivered by President Cyril Ramaphosa during the manifesto launch at Moses Mabhida in February. In order to ensure that attainment of priorities in the manifesto, the ANC in KZN adopted the approach ensuring coordination of the work, national department, parastatals, provincial and local government, and the private sector. We have succeeded in this regard. A classic example addressing the 40 states is the 50 billion invested towards the upgrade of N2 and N3. This has created jobs for more than 1,000 young people. We ensured a successful monitoring of this project with the National Minister of Transport, a deployee of the ANC. On the issue of championing the delivery of water, which is the basic right, ahead of elections, we emphasize our commitment to ensure that the ANC deployees across all spheres of government work together to champion the delivery of water to communities. Welcome the fact that Minister of Water and Sanitation, Comrade Pam Majodina, has been working with ANC mayors. She is building on the solid foundation laid by former Minister of Water and Sanitation, Comrade Senzo Mchunu. Working with current Minister, Comrade Majodina, we are ensuring that ordinary members of society and other key stakeholders are integrated into the value chain of the delivery of basic service such as water. Comrade Majodina was in the province for the commissioning of Hazelmere Dam 2 weeks ago. The raising of the dam wall is improving water supply in eThekwini and Ilembe District Municipality. On the fight against crime, our deployee, Comrade Senzo Mchunu, is always in and out of the province of KwaZulu-Natal, as you might know, and might have testified, intensifying the fight against crime. The biggest threat to our democracy and freedom is crime, which is fueled by many factors. We salute all efforts done by Comrade Macengwane, and his firm hand is being felt by criminals. On the focus of transport and achievements, over the past 100 days, we have invested over 2 billion towards construction, maintenance, and rehabilitation of roads under Amakosi in various municipalities. We introduced the contractors with local communities expressing their appreciation. We wish to cite the handing over in particular of P234 in Osotho and KwaMandlakazi in Nongoma, Kuyisehlalankosi. In line with the clear guidance from His Majesty Silo Mrs. Zulu KaZwelithini, we have ensured that work with Amakosi and his indunas aseNdlunkulu become the cornerstone of what we are going to achieve. ANC and ANC MECs have met with Amakosi in various parts of the province. Critical following our meeting with Minister of Police, Minister Senzo Mchunu, National Police Commissioner Babu Masimula, Lieutenant General Masimula, and Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, we no longer see the stoppages of construction projects in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. The United Front Against Crime has been intensified through this project and this program. As the ANC will continue to ensure that our people, deployees in government, work together and act firmly, as we do not want to prolong construction of roads and houses. We understood that communities cannot wait any longer for what belongs to them. We must hasten to point out that 2 billion worth of road construction project, about 400 million has been set aside and already benefit emerging entrepreneurs. Today we speak about millionaires created by ANC government in the construction sector over the past 100 days. Some of these things have been emphatic because starting from the new dispensation of 1994, we are currently celebrating the 30 years of democracy. On focus on the human settlements and achievements, we reported in legislature that we have made great progress in relation to the rollout of human settlements. We are building integrated human settlements that will bring people closer to the cities and areas where there are economic opportunities, ladies and gentlemen. We are achieving that through service sites. It should be remembered that under the 5th administration, communities pleaded with the ANC and asked for sites in order to build their own houses. The ANC moved with speed during the 6th administration and started the construction and building of infrastructure such as water and electricity. As continuation from the previous administration led by the ANC, already more than 2,863 sites have been developed across the province of KwaZulu-Natal. We are adding to more than 20,191 service sites we have delivered over the past 10 years for people who wish to build their own houses. Wish to report that as part of upgrading of informal settlements program, we have built more than 150 service sites within 100 days in the office. The plan is to create 1,405 service sites by March 2025. Through our social housing program, we want low-income households in rural urban areas to have easy access to economic centers. This program is for the people who earn between 1,500 up to 22,000. We are well on target building 270 homes through the community residential unit, which is well known as CRUs. We are making good progress in Kokstad area, Sibongile and Mzinyati, and the N11 and Hospital Street CRUs in Amajuba. Thousands of community members will be given decent shelter as part of the rental block or rental option. We are restoring human dignity and ensuring the stability of our communities, which were divided along racial lines. We want to see children having access to quality education, recreational activities, and other amenities. We want to see economic growth as a result of workforce that is motivated and skilled. We are saying this will be achieved through an affordable, decent shelter. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, on the September 26, we have a number of skills development campaigns under the 7th administration as championed by the ANC MEC. For instance, we launched a skills revolution targeting more than 2,000 young people across all municipalities, especially in rural areas. Majority of you will remember that we've built in the Upper Edendale 25,000, which was the biggest housing or human settlements project in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. So when we talk about skills revolution, it is part of enhancing the scope. We want young people to be part of acceleration of the implementation of rural housing development project. As a tribute to one of our giant icon, Comrade Dumisani Makai, was also the MEC responsible for this department at some point in time. Our target is to assist almost 4,459 families in rural areas through the rural housing program by March 2025. We want to solve the migration of people to big cities where there is a competition for land and accommodation. We are training young people to work with amakhosi asendlunkulu, councillors and other leaders of society throughout the corners of the province as part of rural housing development. We are eradicating mud houses and unsafe makeshift shelters in the province. The department has delivered almost 6,139 houses through the rental housing program, rural housing program, even in the most remote part of the province. Over the past 100 days, 1,640 houses have been built, 77 households have received subsidies and purchase units under the First Home Finance Program. 10 houses for military veterans have been built and handed over at the same time. 58 houses for vulnerable members of society have been delivered as part of Operation Sukumasak. 243 title deeds have been handed over. The ANC has mandated the deployees across all spheres of government to work together to speed up the handing over of title deeds to beneficiaries. I'm sure by now we know the sentimental value when someone who's been in the country has fought for this liberation receiving his or her title deed. Last week, Thursday, the Minister of Human Settlements, Comrade Mamluko Kupao, together with the Mayor of Tegwin, Comrade Silklaba, met with the province to reflect on the rollout human settlements. Clear targets have been set aside that will restore the dignity of communities who are waiting for what belongs to them. Let us focus now on Department of Health, which is led by Comrade Nomakujwa. As you know, that healthcare service is one of our top priorities as the ANC is contained in the manifesto. Our deployee has registered a number of notable victories and service delivery improvements over the past 100 days. Fortunately enough for this department, she has been continuing in the same department. One of key priorities is to retain as many people on treatment of TB and HIV and AIDS, bring back those who are lost to follow-up treatment and ensure that they remain on treatment. I'm sure we've just reached a mundane state as if the issue of HIV and AIDS has been treated like this. It was not like this. A lot of improvement has happened and our people are also celebrating that moment. To this end, the department has trained scores of clinicians, data capturers, and TB coordinators on the electronic drug-resistant web-based tuberculosis register dashboard. So every day you are able to trace what is currently happening in almost all the 11 districts of the province. This program equips them with critical skills to identify and follow up patients who stop taking their treatment and manage them accordingly. The department is steaming ahead with the program to reduce mother-to-child transmission of HIV, and it remains below 0.8. This is due to ongoing advocacy and implementation and promotion of, among other things, what we regard as PrEP, as well as other preventative methods of HIV. We're also encouraging those who are HIV positive to adhere to this treatment. We must hasten to point out that ARVs are available throughout the corners of the province. Ensuring access to health care service has been one of our top priorities over the past 100 days. We are satisfied with the progress in relation to the building of new clinics and repurposing of district hospitals into regional hospitals. We are determined to steam ahead with our plans as ANC to build new modern hospitals in the northern part of the provinces. The construction of clinic in Mtubatuba currently is going well, which created a halapalu at some point in time. We are glad the construction has started to take roll over it already. We've also focused on the construction of the state-of-the-art at Mpolweni in New Hanover. We remain satisfied with the operation at the newly opened modern state-of-the-art of Dr. Pixley Gaseme Hospital, which was constructed by the ANC government with a budget of over 2 billion. The rollout of new e-health system is the demonstration of our determination to reduce patient waiting times in hospitals and to address the challenge of missing and damaged patient files of lower medical legal claims. To help women prevent unplanned and unwarranted pregnancy and all our resultant socio-economic challenges that stem from it for the girls and the women, the department has managed to insert intrauterine contraceptive device on 9,000 rands in 2 women of various ages, and I'm sure we've just taken a long stride when it comes to it, as contained and enshrined in the Freedom Charter of 1955. Significant, we have also had few deaths in children under 5 years, as well as fewer stillbirths than the projected number. This is thanks, among other interventions, improved access to respiratory support and oxygen in our health system. The department will continue working hard to drive awareness campaigns aimed at promoting health education, disease prevention, getting regular medical checks, and adherence to treatment. We wish to report that as ANC, we welcome progress in relation to the building of new clinics and repurposing of district hospitals and regional hospitals. We continue to support the deputy chair as she stands ahead with plans to build new modern hospital in the northern part of the province of KwaZulu-Natal. As we stated in the past, part of the renewal means that the ANC member at local government must play a role in ensuring that they assist community access to health facilities, clinics and hospitals. They need to mobilize community participation in the structures of government, such as hospital boards and clinic communities. ANC leaders at branch level should also participate in grassroots programs to ensure access to quality services and fight serious diseases such as HIV, AIDS, TB disease, or lifestyle cancers, etc. This is part of integrated approach of government that is being promoted by national provincial government. Let us move quickly to education as priority achievements led by Deputy Secretary of the Province, Comrade Hlomuga. We all know that ANC defined this as an apex priority, so it means that we must always speed up what we are going to do, which is why in the last year we achieved number 2 in the entire country and getting more exemption. We still want to maintain that order seat. We salute our comrade Sipho Hlomuga for hitting the ground running. He has been hands-on and ensured ongoing meetings with key stakeholders to ensure the provision of quality education to learners. Over the past 100 days, we also witnessed a focus on the following. Number 1, rollout of school infrastructure. As the ANC welcomed the maintenance and upgrading of school facilities to ensure quality education. We saw the official opening of the Battlefield School and Dr. J.L. Dube High Schools. Educator and employment and approving 2025 post-provisioning norm PPN in collaboration with teacher unions and school governing bodies. Various stakeholders welcomed the advertisements of PL1 and promotional posts. This provided opportunities for qualified educators, which is key as we address the issue of imbalance of the past and unemployment in particular. While local government does not have direct responsibility over the schools, many services will require support of local representatives. Our schools are being mobilized to take part in the education of our children, structures in particular. Welcome efforts by DPS on all categories of staff in the department to ensure incident-free matric exam. We started smoothly, which is something that is key. The papers were delivered on time and there were no hassles in the process. Over the years, we have seen improvement in terms of matric results, as I've already highlighted, that the class of 2023 did extremely well, and we expect the same thing when it comes to this year, whether we maintain position 2 or we address major processes by becoming number 1, which we are contending it's possible for the province of this caliber. We reiterate our message that the creation of an environment conducive for learning and teaching, fighting crime and ensuring peace and stability may be boosted by diligent counsellor acting as a true representative in our communities. 150.7 billion budget for KZN government coming or taking from the 6th administration to the 7th. When we handed over power to the 7th administration, we also handed over this amount as already was budgeted for all government departments. Our deployees of the KZN legislature are playing an oversight role over the executive to ensure that this budget is used to accelerate service delivery. When we fought for our democracy with a vision to create a caring and compassionate nation, any nation will always be judged on the basis of how it cares for the vulnerable. and the people in its midst. Our deployees are using every sitting to ensure that the resources of the state are not diverted away from addressing poverty and unemployment, which is our key feature. As an ANC, we have said our MECs must be exemplary in their conduct. Equally, we have called on our members elected into council to serve our people with dignity and honor, refrain from using their position for self-interest, fraud, corruption, and manipulation of tender and procurement processes. Those who understand our oath that when we join the ANC, you join the ANC voluntarily without any expectation of financial gains. As a volunteer, you must always be willing to serve. On the ANC, KZN, and the GPU and the way forward, ladies and gentlemen of the media, we've highlighted some pocket of achievements under our deployees as the ANC. Broadly speaking, we are happy with the performance currently implemented by the GPU. We must, however, hasten to point out that participation in the GPU do not in any way imply that we'll sacrifice the identity and values of the ANC. ANC will remain, the liberation movement will remain the only vehicle that could totally give our people proper freedom, in particular economic freedom. We'll never relegate priorities contained in the manifesto to the bottom of the agenda, as the President has also highlighted. It is for this reason that every week we always analyze the political environment under which we operate and assess the balance of forces and their influence in the success of our programs. Their opposition to the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal local municipality was unwarranted. We just have to highlight, earlier on we highlighted that there are some challenges. Last week the DA, a party in the provincial government of unit, which has traditionally stood against the direction of the ANC, demonstrated that it warrants continuous evaluations and characterization. Whilst we understand that we are cooperating with the DA at a provincial level, we do believe that opposing a vote of no confidence in the mayor was not in the interest of the people of KwaZulu-Natal. It is a selfish need. It is what they usually do, of thinking that they are just going to advance their posture. DA's posture was well-serving and self-serving, and we was defeated last week as well. We are still going to be firm against the DA and its tendencies. Our relationship with the DA, as imposed by the current condition, is the application of tactical methods without abandoning the ultimate goal of the ANC and efforts to fulfill its historic mission. As you know, that the 29th of May was a political setback, so it means that we had to adapt to another strategic tool, and we are implementing that strategy. Where necessary, we will characterize the DA and all those forces that do not share a common program with the ANC. The DA will always be a center-right party that has the capacity to hamper the progress towards the fulfillment of the Freedom Charter. We are mindful of that. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, at this age, we want to turn our focus to the IFP. Whilst we appreciate the collaborative approach and the spirit of working together with the IFP, we do believe that mere work needs to be done by leaders of both parties. Uppermost is an aggressive approach of the MEC of Kokta, responsible for Kokta, MEC Thulasizwe Buthelezi. We're in a position of a request for intervention from his Induna, claiming that he is targeting them from removal on a day-to-day basis. And ours is to defend the hegemony of his Induna. Ours is to interact with all our stakeholders and defend those who are vulnerable. There are reports of workers attached to the expanded public works program whose contracts have been terminated on the alleged directive by Buthelezi at the same time. Whilst we appreciate the spirit of working together as displayed by other leaders of the IFP in the executive and the legislature, we do believe that Buthelezi believes that he's above the GPU and his political part. The IFP is very divisive in nature, and his mission is to take us backward, and we are going to deal with these processes going forward. This is the matter we shall take up with the IFP leadership, and already we are talking about it, and something ought to be done. On the pointers of the future of the GPU, the next 365 days, Amakosi working with Amakosi, the clean governance and caring government, as the ANC have called on our deployees to double their efforts and usher in an era to clean and caring government over the next 365 days. Our deployees and all our leaders in the GPU must ensure that government employees project the values of a caring government that responds to the need of our people. And we must be emphatic at this point in time that we do believe that we are going to spend 5 years together in this current GPU, and there is a stability in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. Even the business at large, we are able to still attract attract tourists, we are able to attract investment in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. Then in conclusion, we want to highlight these two factors: transparency and accountability. The GPU partners must commit to working with Chapter 9 institutions, such as the Human Rights Commission, Public Protector, and Auditor General. There should be an agreement on joint, regular, and unannounced visits to service delivery points managed through the frontline service delivery and service delivery improvement programs. On deepening of the democracy, the GPU partners must agree on a clear program of deepening our democracy by creating space for civil society movement, human rights activities to partner with government to improve and access the quality of service delivery. Finally, as the ANC will continue to work towards building a peaceful province, the promotion of peace, tolerance, mutual respect is everyday task of those in the position of authority and those leading the society. Our democracy can only be entrenched and be protected in an environment of peace, hard work, and honestly. And we must just highlight that we've started the journey of working closely with Amakosi that we've already highlighted that are becoming a cornerstone. We've already highlighted that we did meet his in Isilo. We also met with different Amakosi in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, and that program is going to go on with all our deployees in the state. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Comrade Chair, for that comprehensive reflection of 100 years since 100 days. It's looked like 100 years though. 100 days. Apologies for that. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll then allow members of the media to then ask questions, comment, and then we will allow the officials to then respond. As a matter of principle, we always start on the left. So I'll start with the hands of the left, from the left-hand side, and then I will move from this side. I will simply give you numbers. On the first, you'll be number one. Only one hand this side. Let's deal with it. Yeah.
Good morning. I am Soy Somaliti from News 24. I would like to ask the leaders if, for their reaction on if the ANC-NEC decides to disband the PEC in December, and if the ANC in KZN will also call for the disbandment of the NEC as a tit-for-tat.
Hear from your statement that there are disagreements, tensions, and divisions between the DA, the ANC, and the IFP. It would appear that you are only comfortable with the NFP that you did not mention. It seems that these tensions are threatening the fragile GPU setup in KwaZulu-Natal. What's to be done? Are you going to stay? Are you leaving? Are you talking to the MK?
Thank you.
Thank you so much. My name is Simpwe Makanya. I work for SABC TV News. I have been covered, but I will await the response and see if there's a follow-up.
Okay. Thank you.
Sithulile Mdletshe from Gagas FM News. Umbuzo wami ucishe nje ufane nokaGoge. I just want to ask about ukwaDukuza ukuthi, do you guys not fear ukuthi the cracks relationship between EDA and the ANC will obviously put a strain on the new government, especially affect abantu bakwaDukuza?
Thank you. We'll then allow officials to come in. No bad.
No, I'm trying to put them. We've forgotten. No, thanks. Eloiso, That was not covered in the statement by the chair. The chair was reporting on the 100 days of the GPU and the progress made and some challenges. But organizationally, the National Executive Committee of the ANC is the highest organ between conferences. And it's got an obligation to lead the organization in its entirety for the whole 5-year term. And in its wisdom, the National Executive Committee, which myself and the chair were part, can take any decision at any time regarding the functionality of its structures. What I can assure you is that those who are members of the ANC, genuine and loyal, once the decision of the National Executive Committee is taken, all members of the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal and all its structures will abide by the decision of the National Executive Committee, because we are the subordinate of to the National Executive Committee, and we are the subordinate to the ANC. It's not any way around. Then when that decision comes, whenever it will come, if it will ever come, as the loyal members of the ANC will abide by that decision. And none of us here doesn't belong to a branch. We'll go back to our branches and be active in our branches and do the bottom-up approach. That is not a problem then. Because I think another thing that is emerging is that National Executive Committee is created an impression that it must not lead the country in its entirety, or an impression is created that KZN must be an island from the entire ANC, that National Executive Committee must not touch. It can happen. Of course, we are working, I'm speaking now as a member of the team that formed, who was leading the team that of the ANC that formed the GPU. That involved Comrade Cyril Xaba, Bamwezwe Thuse, Comrade Sibusiso Ndabele, and Comrade Mike Mabuyakhulu. I can safely say we're working well with the parties in the provincial government of provincial unity. We're working very well with the IFP. We're working very well with the DA. We're working very well with the NFP. But what we have learned as the ANC is that within these parties, there are some uncontrollable individuals who not necessarily, as I think the issue of MEC Buthelezi, for example, he does mistakes every day. I think you have noticed not last week, the end of this week, last week, where he went to Jozini, and then, in fact, he started with something that is unprecedented, that putting his face in a government asset in terms of water tankers. And we are sure that the IFP is not happy about that. It's a matter of time. If they don't to act, we'll be forced to force the IFP to act, because imagine if you go all over the country, find every state vehicle is serving the face of the president. Imagine how many state vehicles that are there. If this behavior of Buthelezi can be allowed, it can create an impression that you can have motors, amapoisa, ambulances, everything having a face of the president. It's not done now. But it's a man who can see that he even undermines the IFP, because what the IFP is doing in the GPU overall and what he is doing as an individual, you can see that he is even undermining the IFP. But we still for now trust the IFP that it's an old party. It's always got established rules. I think it will deal with that. We don't need the DA to govern in KwaDukuza. The last vote of no confidence, the DA collaborated with their ex-Lava Action SA. They voted against us there. We defeated them flat-footed. Tomorrow there's an election of the mayor. Whatever the DA does, we don't care. We'll defeat them as well. But it's something that I think, but I think those in government, because we are outside government, those in government will detail their relationship in government with the IFP, DA, and but for now, where we sit as the ANC, I'm speaking for the ANC, we see no reason why the GPU will collapse, the current arrangement of the GPU. Where we sit as the ANC, we are satisfied that it's got a possibility of 99.9% that it will finish the term of office. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that, Comrade Unobhala. Let's allow the Deputy Chair, Comrade Nomagugu.
Thank you very much, Comrade Mafiga. Good morning, colleagues, members of the media. In essence, Comrade Nopala has responded to all the questions that have been asked. But Nopala, Ngiyabona News 24 has a briefing esingenayo ukuthi ngo-December, NEC is going to be discussing its disbandment. Kodwa ke, you correctly indicated that we are structures that are aligned. Kwa ANC, there's something called democratic centralism. If a higher structure takes a decision and all of us are bound by it. And indeed, if the leadership decides to disband the province of KwaZulu-Natal, those that are leading in the PEC will go back to their branches and have to work for the ANC. You don't join the ANC to be a leader, you join the ANC to do the work of the movement. And if there is a time where you are told that you need to go back to your branch, and that is what you do. So we will do so if that time, if or when that time comes. I do want to just speak a little bit to the point that Uspamandla was raising on whether there are tensions within the GPU. There are no tensions within us. It was an oversight, probably, that we did not mention in our statement our relationship with the NFP. But we have a very good relationship with the NFP. We have a very good relationship with the leadership of the IFP, with the exception of MEC Thulasizwe, as it has been indicated. The tension with the DA is ideological. The tension between the ANC and the DA will always be there, will continue to be there, because in terms of ideologies, we are on two different ends of the spectrum. So we always contest what needs to be done. But that doesn't mean we are unable to work together. The leaders that are in the cabinet and are in legislature or in the legislature are matured enough to understand that we actually need to be able to work together for this province to be able to implement and actually bring about service delivery for our communities. Of course, the DA only has the interest of the white minority in the province. They only have interest of white monopoly capital, and that is something that we know about them. And every time we engage with them, we know understanding, or we go to them understanding very well who they are. We are not confused. By the fact that we have to work with them does not mean we don't know who they are. We know that they don't represent the interest of black people in this province. We know that they do not take, or they don't care about the interests of black people in this province in particular. And we make sure that we fight for what is right for the people of the province of KwaZulu-Natal all the time. Like I said, there's no tension between us and the IFP leadership in the GPU. We work very well together. Where we are unable to reach a decision on the matter, we are able to engage each other until all of us are able to find a middle ground. We do only have one rotten potato, or they have one rotten potato as the IFP amongst them, which is MEC Thulasizwe. We have noticed that, you know, ever since he was given this position of becoming an MEC, he's made it his point or his agenda to actually clear. He wants to make sure that udila nama scores, that to settle scores that he had, and we are very much aware of that. You know, our municipalities, or municipalities run by the ANC in particular, he's made it a point that he goes after them, and we're not going to allow that. We're not going to accept that, because we have a responsibility of protecting the people that voted for the ANC, in as much as the leadership of the IFP has a responsibility of protecting those that voted for for their organization. So we are very much aware of what he's doing. The leadership of the ANC is engaging the IFP on this particular matter, and we hope at some point they are going to reach a consensus. Like Unobhala said, government protocol dictates a particular way of doing things, including branding. You can imagine when if I would wake up one day, all the ambulances in the province of KwaZulu-Natal has the face of Nomagugu Smelane. What kind of a province are we going to run? All the ambulance, all the SAPS vehicles will have either a face of Minister Senzo Mchunu or the face of the Premier of KwaZulu-Natal. What kind of government will we be running? It's not allowed, it's not acceptable, and it must be dealt with. We have found that he has been implementing things that we've not agreed upon. That's a matter that we will deal with. Finally, are we leaving the GPU? Are we working with the MK? Definitely not. You will understand that the MKP were the first ones who issued a statement through the mouth of their founder's daughter, Ututuzile. She said they will never work with the ANC and has made it a point that they do not work with us. Of course, when we're going to governments of national unity and provincial unity, no one was closed out, but the MKP made a firm stand to say they will not work with the ANC. So we are here, we work with those that want the development of the people of KwaZulu-Natal, and we will make sure that it actually works. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sis Kuku. For that, let's allow the chairperson.
Let me thank the officials for having dealt fundamentally with the formulation of media questions. I think it's fair that it has been dealt with, and both the Secretary and Deputy Chair delved deeper in what was asked. But I must highlight, Loiso, that the issue of disbandment is non-question. Fortunately enough, both comrades were able to deal with it. If you know the tradition of the ANC, we don't have the NEC usually in December anyway. So where does that come from? Where does that come from? So you are deciding to inform using the superstructure of your media, suggesting something. It's not true. There is nothing like that. In fact, we've been given, I thought we were going to be emphatic leadership, that we've been supported by the collective led by Matamela Ramaphosa. I think we must be emphatic on that point. The president has met this PC, which was elected twice already. And even this week, we're still going to be blessed with his presence. The Secretary General has met this collective. Almost all the top 7 have been supportive of these things. Why do we still keep on this recurrence? Is that they know that the stronger ANC, the stronger KwaZulu-Natal is going to lift the mood in the entire country. So if you keep on giving this reference, it will become a thorn issue and a real political mirror. So it's something that must always rise, because there is nothing. In the last NEC that was held, this issue did not even make up in the NEC. So it is existing in certain people's head. So it must not be done in that way. I think we must be emphatic. And it's true on the issue of municipalities. There are 3 spheres of government. The contradictions will always emerge. Okay. So I think we must be clear when it comes to that one. It's not like, even like a family setup. I'm always suggesting that it will be a monotonous world if all people and families will think alike. Contradictions are going to emerge, because I wouldn't wonder as if there is a covenant that perpetually there are going to be no contradictions between these parties in the GNU, in the GPU. So you know ideological in particular already, which is why from time to time you'll hear the leader of DA suggesting something very odd and bizarre. It's the nature. They must do that even when they know they are vulnerable, they are not strong. They will project a DA that is strong. Even when they know certain powers they don't have, they will always suggest something like that. So the ANC must remain firm. The ANC has been given a mandate, even with the 40%, just to continue with the process. And with humility, this time we know the renewal mode, the ANC that has changed in terms of the behavioral pattern, is what the people are going to have a direct access to. It is what is going to change. Even the stronger branches, the activist branches that are able to identify service delivery matters, address the issue of identification of needs in the communities, it is the ANC that is going to be well taken, that is going to be given more power. So we are glad that you are able to come and interact with us. Thank you so much, Somlo.
Thank you very much, Comrade Chair. I will give another opportunity if there is any follow-up or any question. But I think all matters have been clearly articulated by the officials, and there is no need on our side to add. Spaman. With that said, sorry for that. Yeah, no. Sorry for that. With that, I think our press conference have came to an end. Let me thank the officials, the chief whip, members of the Fourth Estate. We will, from now till 12, allow individual members of the media to have one-on-one interaction with officials. And then at 12 o'clock, we invite members of the media to join us at 6th floor for a lunch. Ngalawo mazwi siyabonga.